Good afternoon from the BAU live to the US. I have with me Alexei Bekin, Smartglass Inc., who has been doing a couple of projects with us through the past couple of years. Some of them have been rewarded. I think he even has the magazines with him, so we'll take a look at it afterwards. Alexei, welcome.
Thank you.
We now have developed, based on our Pivo, a design entry door. LEDs in just as a gimmick, but 4 meter high. Pivo solution based on the profiles, in this case with magnetic strips coming out of the bottom to the top.
We actually installed a couple of those already, so love the system.
So let's say that
What's the height?
4 meters,
4 meters
on this
cool.
one. The sliders go up to 6. The sliding minimal window 4 plus slider, double rollers over sliding rails. LEDs integrated now, and the guard line as fall protection. As a point of information, the guard line was developed to be used in Germany according to the German DIN standards. Different countries, different standards apply, so that is something.
Can we use it in US?
Well, in the US, you will have to obey the US standards for safety. They might be different. The profiles can be used, but I think that you will have to change the composition of the glass or the length and the width of the glass that you can use. This was done according to German regulations. The Pivo door glazed. The Pivo now connecting onto the junction to a fixed or a sliding window in this case. And then we get to...
What's the minimum distance between the edge and the axle? It's like 250 millimeters?
Now we have 300 millimeters as a max distance from end point to center point.
Okay.
That depends highly on the height.
Maximum or minimum distance?
Maximum and minimum will depend on the weight of the sliding window. We will calculate based on that weight, wind loads, height, and width, what the max point can be. On that door it was 150. On this one it is, I think, standard 180.
Okay.
But it's something that is taken into, or that we look into from an engineering point of view. Now let's get quickly to the NGS, next generation sliders.
But before we go there, I actually, we did that. We used minimum 4 system, and one of the projects actually made it to the best of the year in interior design. So
nice.
all glazed with minimum 4.
Well, let's... Oh, Bates and Matzi.
Yeah.
Don't know whether you can see this, but one of the beautiful realizations of Smartglass Inc. has been rewarded with a prize and is displayed in the interior and design.
Interior design, yep. So we have another one in El Decor, and it's another project. And by the way, we used pivot doors there as well. And it's a project of Blaise McCoy. So all glazed with Keller minimal as well.
Nice.
And so we're extremely proud of, these publications and these projects.
Yeah,
and
those are nice projects,
yeah,
indeed.
Beautiful. Sporting pivot door as well. So, I mean...
Cool. Right
there,
the audience we cater for. The people that will be interested in the next generation. It's called next generation because what we do today is for the next generation. First thing that is obvious is that there is no aluminum visible. So we have a system now flush to the floor, flush into the wall. Ceiling, but no profiles. So you get 98% transparency. One thing you will notice as well is that we don't have a handlebar since we're flush. That's why we came up with the solution. Soft open close, one push, sliding window. Gets out of its outer frame in the wall rail, and now you can actually slide it by hand. Closing is the same. Light will start flashing once we reach the point. For the closing, I need to keep pushing, deadman operated for safety reasons.
How about if I put the finger there?
Yeah, well, if you put your finger there and I stop...
I'm responsible.
You're responsible. That's why this is deadman operated.
Okay. Makes sense.
In the NGS, we now have a single sliding rail, single rollers, throughout the entire system. The system is S4, S5, S6, S7, meaning that with the 4, we go up to 44 millimeters of glass, 5, 54, and the 7, 74 millimeters of glass thickness. That to cope with all, also in the US, all those different temperature zones. This is the standard manual, I
So
would say.
it starts with S4, right?
S4.
What's the U value, estimated U value for S4?
Well, that will depend on the glass that you use. But on the profiles itself, the profiles are down to 2.6.
No,
So
well,
I
we're
would
interested
guess-
in UW, so...
Yeah, but I need to know what glass you're using.
A triple, well...
Yeah,
it's
triple,
like-
but what composition, what glass thickness?
Okay.
I would say that in this case, we're
What's the best case scenario?
below 1. We
Uh,
can guarantee
in
below
metric,
1.
right?
Yeah.
So basically we have to divide it by 5.678 and we'll get it in imperial system. Okay.
Integrated.
It's great.
Insect screen,
I like it.
4 meters high,
Is
1
it
meter wide.
magnetic, sort of?
No, this stays what it is. This
No,
stays
no, no.
in place where they put it.
I mean,
No, because the profiles are made from aluminum. Aluminum and magnets don't really function. You
yeah, but
you might
it's like a
consider-
little lock or something.
Well, no, there's nothing. Let's imagine these are high winds.
Mm-hmm.
If the wind would get any stronger, I think you will close your windows. But you might, for argument's sake, actually have. There's something we have to look into, actually, because the handlebar needs to go into the wall sash, and I don't really have space for magnets. That's something I'll be happy to ask your long-lasting friend Werner Schulze to come up with a solution for you.
But also, like pivot, in my understanding, it actually, even though it's made with aluminum, but it has a magnetic stripe.
Yes,
to,
but the
to
ma-
seal the opening, right?
But we have
So-
magnets built into the profile on the inside. If I need a magnet here on the outside to cater for
But I mean,
this,
what's the connection between the screen and the door? Is it like mechanical?
this is a mechanical
Oh, okay,
connection.
okay,
This
okay,
flips
okay.
out. But this is aluminum. This is aluminum. I can put a magnet on this one. But if I would put a magnet on this one, the tricky part would be to get this back into its place in the wall. So let's ask Werner Schultz to come up with a solution. I'll get back to you on that one. Promise.
We'll find out.
Motorized top sliders.
And I see it's kind of like
This
that one is deeper. That one
Yeah.
is like a little shallower.
This is what we call the view. So you don't see any profiles. We flush bottom all the way to the top with glass. This is what we now would use or now call three-way floor. We limit the width of the sash.
I liked freeway better, but I mean, do you think it's like ADA compatible? So it has to be less than half an inch.
Depends on regulations, but I think that here the trash is about 7 or 8 millimeters, so that should actually match.
Well, let's double check. Let's double check. Indeed.
So
Less
you
than
would
half an
you
inch.
you would
Okay.
would comply, as mentioned. Telescopic drive, so both sashes move at the same time.
I mean, it's the same as we used before.
Nope,
right?
this is the top slider version.
No. Yeah, I understand, but it's like the slider, smart slider.
Yeah,
similar
but
to what we used in Brown University.
We still
It was-
use the same engines, but in
Yeah,
this
but
case,
I see the belt is kind of like reversed. So instead of vertical, it's like
it's because this is a top
horizontal.
slider. This is a top slider mounted on top of the profile.
okay.
In the system that you had, it is mounted beside, so you have a separate housing,
I
and
know,
your
I know, I
and your
know.
timing belt is
Cool.
different. This is step glass,
Well,
which means that we have
does it-
glass top to
How
bottom.
deep is the top slider then? I mean, the,
top-
frame plus the.
no, the top slider fits into the frame. We only
Okay.
have a 30 millimeter additional on top.
Okay.
I'll show you that.
the
on
entire length?
No, just there.
Oh,
where the-
just like the
just
point.
where the engines
Okay.
are. Just where the
'Cause
engines are.
it's important when we have a header.
that-
We need to find some
Then
space.
take a look here. This is
Okay.
the existing smart slider, the one that you had at Brown as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all into a separate housing next to the frame. Top slider, it's actually built into the frame, which means that your sliding sash would be here.
But I mean, some
And
components, as
some
you said, like 30
components, yeah.
millimeters. How many
The pulley-
components are projecting out?
Only the pulley and the crocodile locker, and they need 30 millimeters on top. And that's only 30 millimeters extra on top.
What about those two?
Those are 30 millimeters. Again,
Oh, okay.
there's a drive.
And
there is
control board.
there's a
Yep.
control board.
Okay.
All the rest is in. So timing belt, crocodile locking, it's all in the outer frame of the minimum window. Where in the other case, you have a separate housing next to it. And that housing, 80 by 100.
Very good.
Different finishes
So
and options.
this is that difference, like S7, S6, S4,
Yes,
and
we have throughout the system always the same profiles.
is it immediately available?
This is, you can order as of tomorrow.
Nice.
And delivery times would be, as always, as of signed drawings, 8 weeks. depending on the complexity of your project. In this
Yep.
case, we now use an isolator bar to determine the width that we can use on the glass thickness, one single sliding rail, single rollers. Throughout the system, we go from here 20 millimeters, so 2 times 10 millimeters on the isolator, 20 again, 20 again. This is the view with the deep threshold. This would be then your floor version that you just measured as being less than half an inch.
I
And
guess.
this gap is always the same throughout the entire system.
Yep. We good.
And this stays throughout the entire system, always the same. So regardless of your glass thickness in the floor system, the threshold width remains the same.
What's the benefit of a single rail instead of like double rail like in Minimal 4?
We now have, because of using a single rail, the single rail was now incorporated into your isolator bar, which makes your thermal efficiency, thermal breaker, better than on the double sliding rails. In addition, we need less stainless steel, less rollers. Materials that we use are now highly recyclable. The aluminum is even 30%. The aluminum we use now has a 30% less carbon footprint compared to the existing system, the minimum Windows 4 Plus. Another benefit is that we now have straight isotherms. So the isotherms now go through the glass. They're not hindered by a second sliding rail. So thermal lines, straight
Is
lines.
S5 available as well?
This is S5. We have right now available S4 and S6 because that caters for most of the applications we have. S5 will be available by the end of the year.
Okay.
Different design options on handlebars in different finishes. Among one in corten steel, rectangular one for those who like it.
I
And-
remember that one. So it's
and-
actually Smartglass and Bates and Macy architect responsible for that design.
Well, we have it now. And
I know.
one in which we actually show the mechanism which is behind the handlebar.
Yeah.
Important
It's
to
like a Swiss watch, right?
It's like a Swiss
on the
watch,
back
yeah.
side. It's like, you can see the mechanism.
Important to notice is that in the minimal window 4 Plus system, we used aluminum rods for the closing. NGS, it's always stainless steel.
Yeah, can we get some stainless steel for Minimal 4?
We
Like custom.
you might have it might be customized. The difference would be that in your handlebar locking bar using stainless steel, we have RC3. Sorry.
That's important. Yep.
RC3 as burglary protection instead of RC2.
Yep.
Junction profiles, granule finish, anodized, corten steel, wood veneer, which is real wood.
We kind of tried it like you tried it like a few years ago.
Now we're able to.
Okay,
It took us years to
excellent.
develop because you have to make sure that your wood veneer stays on your aluminum, does not start sweating and shrinking.
I like it.
Thank you.
And I see the glass as well.
Yeah, but
That's the plan?
honestly, technically it's possible. Tricky part is that, and that happened here as well, there is some little bits of dirt that got into during the process of the lamination. You will never be able to get that out.
You have to give something to get
well,
something, right?
yeah, indeed. If you want to have it with a glass sort, it is possible.
But I mean, if
But there's no
we get
guarantees.
junction profiles and glass, so we can actually install the locking system there, right?
you can install locking systems. Yeah,
I mean, no or yes.
these are all available. It's or these.
But I mean, how do you use it with the glass?
No. You're not gonna put that one in here.
Yeah.
If you would
this
be
is what I'm
using
saying.
this, you're working with the soft open close.
Okay.
This will be your interlock. Finish
But I
on the
mean,
inside.
we can install like classic mechanical lock in all other.
In all others, these are your
Except
standard
for the glass, okay.
handlebar profiles, except for in the glass. Another one that
Is this
might be of
real
interest,
steel?
That's real corten steel.
Not
Which is-
very.
Well, it goes
thermally
against.
broken, right?
Well, it's just a junction profile. It's still on
Oh, okay.
the aluminum. Another thing we came up with is a flush.
So it's completely
Locking,
flush
yep.
and
Mechanism remains the same, but it's flush.
wow.
Also lockable with a key if needed.
Wow.
So that's some of the new
Well, it's a-
developments
Kind of like small key, right?
and increased. Well, that's
Is it secure enough?
this is more than secure enough because if you lock
Is this stainless steel or aluminum now?
this is stainless steel now
Okay.
in the new system. Now it's open,
Okay.
so I can open my window. If I lock it, Sorry.
But I mean, it's supposed
If
to
I
be
lock it.
inside, right?
Yeah, this is the inside, but
So
nobody-
never outside, though.
you might consider this outside, but somebody can actually pick this lock. That's not
Exactly.
something
I
we
mean,
would
it's
do.
not like super
But it is
secure.
it's the additional security on the inside. It's locked.
For instance, I had an inquiry. One of my customers, he has like kids, and they would like to make sure that kids do not open the window.
That is
so
the solution.
that's the
Yeah,
solution.
that's the solution.
Okay.
So that's pretty much quickly on what we've been developing. That's
pivot hinge.
this
I
is
think.
what is in the pivot hinges, bottom and top.
Okay.
Made and machined out of solid material, and as you showed before as well, this is like Swiss watchmaking.
I like it.
It is details, and we pay additional or extra attention to these details. The new rollers, same.
The roller carriage.
Yeah,
So
single ones that are in there.
depending on the weight of the panel, we can stack like as many
Yeah,
as we
that
need.
is,
Okay,
that is
cool.
calculated.
How much one carriage?
Those would take
bears?
250 kilos.
So multiply
This
by
one.
2.2, we get like 550 pounds.
Pounds, yeah.
Nice.
So depending on the entire weight of the sash, maximum 1.5 tons, we will put, because always set here, set at the back, so we already cope with 500 kilos, and then if needed, we'll just stack more.
Very
Now
good.
let's go get a cup of coffee and discuss some more other things.
Let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you for watching.